Good morning, my wonderful friends. Magus with you on a beautiful day in Asha. Oh, guys, I have a message that is going to change your life today. And I'm going to ask you to do something before we even start. I want you to receive the word behind these words because they will truly change your life. And I don't want you to miss this. So I'm going to take my time putting this together and presenting it because it's too important to rush through it. I've even had to calm myself down the best that I can. I've got my candle burning. I got some wonderful orange spice tea, and I've been doing some breathing exercises and just praying that God would speak through me and that He would open your ears and hearts and minds to receive the truth, the original word. I'm going to go through this twice, and because I don't want you to miss it. And I promise you guys, if you'll take the time right now, just set in your heart that I'm not going to play on my phone. I'm not going to be thinking about something else. I'm going to be present and receive this word. And guys, it will change your life. Will you do this with me right now? Let's take 3 long, deep breaths. Breathe in and relax, and breathe in and exhale, and breathe in and breathe out. Faith in God is faith in His Word, and His Word becomes His identity. What I said right there, my friends, you're going to understand this on a heart level. We're going to break this down, and it's going to change everything. Faith in God is faith in His Word. So we've been talking for the last 2 weeks about faith and Word being the same thing. And Word and God is the same thing. My friends, that is His identity. And when we accept His Word, we then have an understanding of His idea and His essence. And that very essence comes into us. His Spirit comes into us. We receive the embodiment of God when we receive His Word. Oh, I'm going to go a little deeper. I'm going to say that again. Language is now the identification of the person. Language is now, the word is now the identification of the person. Let me explain how that works. Were you taught to pray in Jesus' name? You are actually praying in His identity, His Spirit, His essence, because His Word is who He is. You know, Jesus said, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, he who hears my word has God life." We receive the Word into us. That's receiving Jesus into us, His idea, His Spirit, His idea. We receive that into us, and that gives us an authority because it's become us. We are now, we understood His message of truth, of the loving Father, of the all-good God, and being peace and joy and kindness no matter what's going on around us. We become new creatures, new vibrations, and now we're creating a different atmosphere and a different world. And get this is important. Since you are a child, my friends, a false word, language, spirit has been implanted in you through the dark system and matrix schools, through their churches. They've put in a wrong, false word into you, and it's become you. And now you're in resonance for things that you don't want in your life. And we're going to change that today with the truth. You know, I've noticed a lot of people can't hear my simple words, when I say something as simple as God is all good and he has no attributes of the evil spirit, in our heart of hearts and that divine spark in us, we know that's true. We know that there's two warring energies. There's either love or there's hate. There's peace or there's discord. There's war or there's peace. And what the world religions have done is they've combined them. They mixed their idea of God. So when I tell someone about God, and this message goes out to many different countries, it's going to go through their filters of what they're taught as a child of what God is. So I say the word God, and they might be picturing a highest principle of good that hates and wars and kills and gets angry and jealous, my friends. But we have to go back to the original, and we can do that today, to go back to the perfect Creator's perfect idea that came out of his perfect mind. That's the plan, the spirit, the idea, the word, the original word, that if we take into ourselves, and we create out of that place, we're going to change the world. I've been thinking a lot about in Genesis. Do you remember the story of the Tower of Babel? And the God said, we must go down and confuse their language, or nothing would be impossible for them. I'm guessing the God's concerns, if they were good gods, was probably that the spirit, the ideas, the word, false word that man had in them, that they were probably going to blow up the world or destroy the world, because when man comes together in agreement, there is power. When they have one language, one idea, one spirit, there's a power in that. And so it's so important when man comes together and the world comes together in oneness that everyone's talking about, that it's in the true word, the original word, the perfect Creator's perfect idea, and not in the false word. Because with that much power, with a wrong spirit, it would be destruction. And so today, my friends, you're going to know that you know that you know that you've received the right God, the good God, the true God into you, the right spirit, the right word. You know, right now, you see the politicians calling for oneness and agreement, but I'd have to say oneness with what spirit, what word. And from what I've seen of history and their present ideas and of their religions, and I'm very concerned about their oneness plan. So what do we do? Well, I'm going to tell you that, but first I want to talk about what we don't want to do. We've seen here people so frustrated with a system that's not working. They know there's more to be had, but they don't have a plan. They don't have an idea. They don't know what to do. And here where I live in the Pacific Northwest, they started just rioting and breaking stuff, and they took over a city, but they soon found they had no plan. They don't know how to run a city. Many of them people can't even run their own lives in their own body. They can't run their own family, much less run a city. And pretty soon they were needing help from the system they were fighting. They had to have the city bring toilets in for them to use. They had to have the system they're fighting against bring them medical assistance to come in and clean up all the trash that they left. And pretty soon they learned they had a lot of passion, but they had no plan. My friends, well, we saw it on the other side when they raided the Capitol. They're breaking stuff and throwing papers around, and then pretty soon, what do you do now? They went home. They didn't have a plan. My friends, I'll tell you what we need. We need Jesus. And when I say we need Jesus, I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm not going to get into that. But Jesus and Christianity are two totally different things right now. We need Jesus, the truth. We need Jesus, the Word. My friends, we need Jesus, the way back to the loving Father. We need the original word. And that's what I'm going to teach you today, my friends, the original word. When the perfect creator's perfect mind created this world, it was perfect. And what you see that's not that has been created by man taking the false word, this false ideas, the false spirit into him and creating from that place. We see division in man versus woman, black versus white, nation versus nation, Republican versus Democrat. And so we do need oneness, but oneness with the false word would be destruction. Oneness with the true word would be Asha, heaven on earth. Grab your Asha. If you don't have Asha yet, it's Asha by Winston Head, available at Amazon. And we're going to Asha 13. And we memorized this yesterday, didn't we, guys? Asha 13 says, the original word. That's what we're talking about here. The original word is that all good comes from the Creator and no evil comes from Him. Right there, that goes against most of the world religions. They teach a God that sends good and evil. He loves and hates. He's at peace and war. He gets angry and he's nice. And my friends, that's exactly what the world looks like, because that's the spirit that they've taken into them. The original word is all good comes from the Creator and no evil comes from Him. And now that we've restored His image to the original, my friends, the original monotheistic religion, God was all good and He had no attributes of the evil spirit. Then the religions that followed, they mixed attributes of the evil spirit with Him. My friends, so He loves, hates, peace, war. But we're going back to the original. And we restored His image. Now we're restoring our image, because we come from that good spirit. And we're made of that good spirit, and we shall return to that good spirit, because in us He put a divine spark that knows that word, that true word. It's the Christ in us that we let be born inside of us. And when that happens, our spiritual world is made straight. We become new creatures, new beings. We become truth and love and good God, my friends. And then our material world comes into order. By holding that true original word, our spiritual world comes into order, then our material world. That's why it's so important we share this message. The original word of false religion, so there's a false word that many hold today, is that evil comes from the Creator. And in this false idea is all the evil that creatures suffer. We can end all suffering today if we would just hold the original word. To do that, we have to pour out our vessel, pour out the wrong ideas and spirits that have been implanted in us, and receive the true. And how do you know it's true? It's going to resonate with your heart of hearts. When I say God is the good principle, He's the highest principle of good, and He has no attributes of the evil spirit, that resonates in your heart of hearts. I want to read to you, I think, what's going to wrap this up so beautifully, because it tells us where that original word comes from. And it says, the perfect Creator's perfect mind created a perfect thought. What else could a perfect Creator have but a perfect thought? And my friends, I love this part. It says, I am that thought. You are the perfect Creator's perfect thought and idea. That divine spark inside of you is created in Daddy's image, and He loves you so much, my friends. It says, I choose not to be double-minded. I choose to think God and not the lie. I choose to think the original word and not the false word. I choose to hold and hear and understand only God good, the original word, and not listen to the lies of the false word, not hold their vibrations of hate and greed and anger. It says, I am perfect spirit. God's child thought and spirit makes form. Therefore, my world is perfect, because we've aligned our spirit man with the true image of God. And now our world is coming into focus because we're planting new energetic seeds and a new harvest is coming. My friends, I'm going to ask you, listen to this twice because there's a lot there. And then I'm going to ask you to share it with at least one person. Every one of you at the sound of my voice, please do this. This is how we're going to spread this truth. They must hear it. And there's not a lot of people speaking it right now. We have a beautiful thing we can do here. We can spread Asha. So listen to this twice and share it with one person. And know I love, love, love you. And we'll see you next time.